Hi there, Mike Tobin here, the cash flow positive property investor. Welcome to the Property Fast Track weekly newsletter number 4. Lately it hasn't been such a weekly newsletter. My apologies there. There have been some major things happening in the world lately. In fact, there were some major changes just this weekend gone. I'm hoping you noticed. I just saw this on the internet. Absolutely dropped everything to get this week's newsletter out. Right now, the world is changing and negative gearing is not going to save you. Sorry, everyone. Now, first up, my disclaimer. All my information in my newsletter is of a general educational nature only. It's not intended as investment advice. Please take responsibility for your financial decisions and consult your financial advisor before making any investment. Now, let's get into it. Now, who are these two likely fellows? They're looking very happy with themselves. Now, some of you all will recognise the Australian Prime Minister on the left there, Mr. Tony Abbott. Oh, sorry, on the right. Sorry, Tony. The other fellow, he's the Chinese President, Mr. Xi Jinping. What are they so happy about? Well, the key news is that on Saturday, 2 days ago, March 28, 2015, Australia confirmed that it has asked to join the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as a foundation member. Now, why is this a big deal and why should anyone care anyway? What's it got to do with anything? This is a big deal and it's a key indicator of how the global financial and investing backdrop is changing right here, right now. So for those who haven't heard about this yet, AIIB is a new multi-billion dollar bank led by China. It's the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and it's not just any bank. What you may not know is that this bank is a competitor, a direct competitor to the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. These are the institutions that smooth the way for stable financial transactions around the globe. So why is this of interest? Competition's good, isn't it? Well, this depends on your viewpoint. Up to now, the United States has had a lot of influence and control over the running of the IMF, the running of the World Bank, and the running of the Asian Development Bank. So this is a major challenge to the United States' dominance, both as a world superpower and as the financial center of the world. The setting up of this bank, the AIIB Bank, is moving control of world finances away from the US and towards China. Now, in joining this bank, Australia joins the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Russia, South Korea, Turkey, Brazil, Austria, New Zealand, India, Singapore, Indonesia, and all the other nations listed on the screen there. And the US is not happy about this. The American President Barack Obama is opposing the setup of the bank and has been pleading with America's allies, Australia, Britain, Europe, South Korea, Japan, not to join the AIIB Bank. So this is not good for the USA, but it is good for Australia. Now, if you want to read a bit more on that, there's some of the sources. I'll just leave those on the screen there for a moment. And here's some additional background. Because, look, the center of the world power moved from New York to Beijing. It's been happening over the last couple of years. So it's already happened. It's just sometimes these changes, they happen in stages and they take a while to be noticed. And this shift in power was predicted 15 years ago or earlier by several people, or more than several. So here are some of them. One of them was investor and educator Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad fame. Hopefully you've read that book. One of them was Alan C. Walter from the Advanced Coaching and Leadership Center in the US. Unfortunately, that's not Alan on the screen there. He passed away a few years after more than about 50 years of helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people achieve success in their lives. Alan's legacy is continued by his team at the Advanced Coaching and Leadership Center, and they're very well worth talking to. And the third was master investor Jim Rogers, who has dominated the investing world since the early 1970s. Now, Jim Rogers has voted with his feet. He moved from New York to Singapore several years ago, and he has a Chinese nanny for his children so they can learn to speak fluent Mandarin. Jim's quoted as saying, "If you were smart in 1807, you moved to London. If you were smart in 1907, you moved to New York City. And if you were smart in 2007, you moved to Asia." And he did. So For those of you who aren't aware, the world power base, it moves around from time to time, and when it does, there can be substantial amounts of turmoil and wonderful, wonderful opportunities to build wealth and success. And I discussed this in Module 8 of my Positive Cash Flow Fast Track program. This looks at the boom that's currently underway, and Australia stands to benefit because of its unique position at this great time of change. Not every country is going to benefit the way Australia is going to benefit. And just recently we had the short-term drop in the Chinese renminbi. That's the China, or the Chinese yuan, it's also known as. That's the Chinese currency, and that means those of you who are aware of the boom are able to get set at one of the pullbacks in that march upwards as China moves into economic dominance. And I'm hoping that with what I share with you in Module 8 of my program, you'll be better prepared to navigate the coming financial challenges that the world will enter in the coming decades. This is a time of great change, a time of great challenge, and a time of great opportunity. And you can see there, old superpower to new superpower, old reserve currency to new reserve currency. People who are financially literate will prosper at the expense of those who are not. Those who understand that it's important to produce more than you consume, people who can generate a positive cash flow, will thrive and survive, or survive and thrive even. So those of you who are negatively geared, listen up. Negative gearing is just another way of saying you're over leveraged, and those of you who are over leveraged, overextended, you'll struggle at best and fail abysmally at worst. During this Module 8, I share with you what I'm seeing and hearing from many different sources, and I share with you those sources so you can pay attention to the story as it develops in real time after I complete my program. So if you're interested in joining my Positive Cash Flow program, you'd be very welcome. You can join in by going to www.thepropertyfasttrack.com/special, joining up there. And that's it for this week. Oh, and for those of you who haven't seen my free webinar, you can register at www.thepropertyfasttrack.com/webinar. And once again, if you're interested in joining the Positive Cash Flow Fast Track program, www.thepropertyfasttrack.com/special. I'm Mike Tobin, the Cashflow Positive Property Investor. Thanks for tuning in. Until next week, hopefully next week, happy investing. Bye now.